10 years ago, parents and their older children in the United States were agonizing over the costs of higher education. College and university education seemed more and more to be necessary to get the good jobs of the future. Families concerned about their children's welfare worked hard to get their children prepared for entry into higher education. So imagine the tension, the agony, as family after family discovered that the costs of higher education had been spiraling up over decades before, far faster than the rate of inflation, and more importantly, far faster than the rising incomes that people had a hard time in those years getting. And they couldn't afford what they knew they needed for their children. It was very hard. And what was happening was that the problem was being solved, not by the social change needed to address this situation, but rather by each family individually. And the major solution was either forget about higher education, go get a job, make do without, or borrow money. Very quickly, student debt became the fastest rising kind of indebtedness plaguing the American family. Well, 10 years ago was also when Economic Update began as a regular weekly program. We had two goals: to be able to see honestly and critically what the problems of the American economy were, like the crazy price of higher education, but also to argue that there were ways forward, there were solutions, and we didn't shy away from facing the possibility, which later became the clear understanding, that to solve the problems accumulating in American capitalism required a change of the system, and we would not shrink from following the logic of that analysis the way so many other people did. We have been tremendously honored by the success and growth of the audience for this program. And to mark our 10th anniversary, we are responding to your requests to look back a little bit, to revisit moments from 10 years ago. And so we are, in this month, looking at education, the price of education. And indeed, the last 10 years have made the problem worse. The level of student debt has risen astronomically. The debt burden carried by young people who go through our higher education system is greater than ever. The complaints, the agony of an entire generation of students is that they can't go on to work and live with what they're passionately interested in and what they have been educated to do, because it's too hard to make enough money to pay off those debts by doing what you love and often what you were trained for. How can I ever pay back this level of debt is the single most frequently heard statement that I get from students in my university office. It's a very serious problem. And let me underscore the seriousness this way. We know that the future of the United States depends on the future of our economy. We are more interdependent with the rest of the world than ever before. And economics also teaches that the most important factor determining the future success or not of U.S. capitalism in the world economy is the quantity and the quality of our educated young people, those coming through the higher education system. So I'm going to compare right now, just briefly, how we're doing with two other countries, both of whom have been very successful in their development of their economies over the last 30 to 40 years. The first is Germany, a global powerhouse whose productivity, especially in areas of engineering, is now justly globally famous. How do they handle the costs of higher education? Well, let me tell you. All university education in Germany is free, not just for German citizens, for anyone. No tuition, no fees. All that a student has to do is cover his or her room and board, which you would have had to do in any case. The university education is considered a blessing for the society as a whole, a strong advantage in the struggle within the world economy for the German nation. It's a gift to all Germans that they have as many of their young people as possible educated, trained, skilled. So, yes, taxpayers fund free education for every German student who wants and is capable of pursuing one. The People's Republic of China does the same. On an even grander scale, they're a much larger country. And it is doubly impressive because not only has China emerged as the number 2 economy by size in the world, but they are a poor country, even now, modestly prosperous, as their leader says, much less wealthy than the United States or Germany on a per capita basis, which is the relevant one to use. But Germany and China are pouring huge amounts of money into building their higher education system, from funding the students, the way I just described about Germany, to literally building university after university, giving them the funds to hire the professors, to build the laboratories, to construct the classrooms, to make higher education a highly successful enterprise. And here comes the comparison with the United States. We're not doing that. We're not doing what the Germans do. We're charging an arm and a leg for higher education. We're not pouring money into universities and constructing them. We're seeing them close. We're seeing them stop various programs. We're seeing them in endless budgetary distress, unlike the People's Republic of China. The United States, it could be argued, is literally undercutting its own future, shooting itself in the foot by this crazy notion that we can charge whatever we want for higher education, and either the students won't go, or we'll burden them with debt that'll distort their life choices for years afterwards. This is a tragedy unfolding. It has to do with hostility to the government, with a system so focused on private profitability, it can't see its way clear to doing what the society as a whole so badly needs. And to say this honestly, and to talk about the kinds of changes that have to be made, or the price that will be and is being paid, that's the kind of programming we focus on at Economic Update. But all of this, all these programs, these 10 years, only possible because you have supported us. We have an attentive, supportive audience, and that's you. And we ask you to help us to grow for another 10 years. we're particularly asking for folks to join our monthly donors because having that flow into the future enables us to plan and make even better programs than we have achieved so far. Go to our website, democracyatwork.info, and you can find out all the different ways you can become involved and you can become supportive. From all of us at Democracy at Work, from all of us who work on the weekly economic update program, thank you.